Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be on this look, which is a one brand tutorial featuring Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this look because it's super fresh and pretty for summer. I really hope you guys like it, and let's get started. So we have a bit of a dilemma today. I ordered my Anastasia products earlier this week. I ordered the Brow Wiz and it actually didn't come in the box. They sent me the box, but they didn't send me the Brow Wiz. I contacted them and they said it's going to take a few days to get here, but the show must go on because I'm pre-filming videos because I'm going on vacation this week. So I apologize. I'm not using the Anastasia Brow Wiz even though I did order it. But I'm using an alternative. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is not my favorite. I really love the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. This is just the one that I currently have on hand. Both of them I feel like are very similar to the Brow Wiz, especially the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. It's like a dupe in my opinion, and it's like half the price. So anyways, then I'm going in with the Brow Pomade, and this one is in the shade Medium Brown. This is actually a really great pomade, and I think for the price, even though it is very pricey, it does last a long time. So if you ever do want to splurge, I do really love this one. And I'm just using an angled brush just to go ahead and fill in the rest of my brows. All I do with the pencil is just outline my eyebrows, but then with the pomade I just fill the rest of them in. So then I'm going to go ahead and carve out my brows. I'm using the concealer. This one's in the shade 1.5. My first impression of this was just like, oh my goodness, this is so incredibly thick. You can see just how much product comes off on the brush, and this shade is way too light for me right now. I actually did get some color recently at the beach. I feel like even if I was super pale, this would still be too light. I don't know. It's just really light. It's super thick. This concealer wasn't my favorite. I feel like it is a really good concealer to carve out your brows and to prime your lids, but we'll get to that in the video. But I just took this with a flat shader brush from BH Cosmetics. I used it to carve out my brows, and then with the extra product, since I had so much on the brush, I just used it to prime my lids as well, because ABH didn't have like a specific eye primer, so I feel like concealer works just as good. So going in with my baby, the Modern Renaissance palette, I'm first starting off with the shade Tempera, and I'm just going to be using that to set the concealer. If you have oily lids, this is like essential. I think it really helps for your eyeshadow to go on super smooth and just blend really nicely, and it also helps it to last all day. So then I'm going in with the shade Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange. I love both of these together. Burnt Orange is a little bit more of an orange, whereas Raw Sienna is a little bit more of a brown, soft brown color. So I'm just taking this on a big fluffy brush. This one is from Live and Breathe Beauty, and I'm just blending those two shades right into my crease all over my lid. This look is so easy today. I really like it. And by the way, if you guys are interested, I'm gonna leave all of my looks that I've done with the Modern Renaissance palette down below. I've done at least 3 or 4 looks, so check the description box below. I love this palette. It's my favorite high-end palette. I think it's so worth it, especially if you love warm neutrals. The quality is so on point, and this is by far, like I said, my favorite high-end palette and my favorite palette that Anastasia has ever came out with. I think it's totally worth the $45. It's like the best $45 I've ever spent. I know that's really dramatic, but I love this palette. So then I'm picking up the shade Relgar, I think that's how you say it. It's one of my favorite colors in here because it's just a true orange color. It is so beautiful. It's super wearable though. You can build it up. You can make it really light. And I'm using this on a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm just using this on the outer part of my crease. And then with any extra product on the brush, I just blend it onto my lid. But most of this color is going into the crease. And you can just see how beautifully these eyeshadows blend. They're just so amazing. I have nothing bad to say about this palette. I think it's just awesome. And I'm going to be using the shade Primavera, and I'm just going to be applying that all over my lid. This shade is really buttery on its own, but I wanted it to be really wet and metallic on the lids. So I went in and I sprayed my brush with a little bit of setting spray. If you don't have setting spray, you could even use eye drops, and it works just as good. And I'm just taking this and I'm just really packing it on all over my lid. I'm using this brush from Vanity Planet just to do it and really build it up and get it to be really intense and wet looking on the eyelids. I love this color. It's so pretty. It's like a really perfect champagne gold color. It's not too light and it's not too dark. And this is basically the star of the show today because today's look is super simple, but I wanted to keep the look really fresh and summery. So then I just went in with the shade Ralgar again, just on this really tiny brush that I got from a Flower Beauty palette, and I just kind of blended out the edges once again, just kind of added a little bit more color that I feel like I lost in the crease. And then I just took the same blending brush from earlier just to blend out any harsh edges. Then I'm taking the shade Tempera once again, and I'm just going to use this color to highlight my brow bone. Since I have a shimmery lid, I didn't really want to have a shimmery brow bone highlight as well. So I just took a pencil brush, this one's from Sigma, and I'm just going to be applying that right underneath my brow bone just for a little pop. And then I went back in and added the same orange color again in my crease. So moving on to the face, I'm using the, of course, it's Anastasia. I'm not going to say Anastasia for every product because it's a one brand tutorial, of course. But this is the stick foundation in the shade Amber. This is extremely dark. I definitely overestimated how tan I would be when I got back from the beach. Like, girl, come on, get it together. This is way too dark. I could have definitely got like at least a shade or two down, but I thought it was going to be really, really dark. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm just using my L'Oreal Pink Beauty Blender sponge just to blend this out. This foundation is not my favorite. Just like right off the bat, it was really thick. It was really hard to blend. Throughout the night, it didn't really last a whole lot on my face. It kind of became a little bit splotchy and it wore off on my T-zone a lot. So this for me was not my favorite. I'm going to keep using it with different primers and stuff like that because I didn't use a primer today because Anastasia doesn't have a primer. I want to give it a fair shot, so I'm going to keep testing it out. But on its own, without a primer, without a spray, something, it's really, really thick. So just keep that in mind. So anyways, then I went in with the concealer. This one's in the shade 1.5. It's the same concealer that I used earlier, and it has a really strong like smell. It almost smells like crayons, which it's not my favorite scent, but I guess it worked kind of. This concealer also wore off throughout the day. It just looked not good throughout the end of the night, and I feel like it's way too thick for underneath the eyes. It creased on me like crazy. Like I have really bad under eye fine lines, but this emphasized it like crazy. So this concealer, not my favorite at all. I think it's really great to carve out your brows just because it is a bit of a thicker consistency, but overall for the face, it's not my favorite. So I took the contour kit, which I really, really like this one, and I took the two shades in the palette on a Sigma tapered highlighter brush, and I just applied that right underneath my eyes just to set that concealer. And this palette I love. I think it's awesome, and if you really like a warm contour or like a warm bronzy bronzer on your skin, I think you're really going to like this palette because it's not cool tone. It's just perfect. I love warm tones, especially in the summer, so that's why I really like it. So then I took the same shades that I used underneath my eyes very lightly on a large powder brush just to set the rest of my face because I didn't have a powder to set my face. And then to finish up the lower lashes, I'm using the shade Love Letter on my lower lashes using an e.l.f. contour brush for the eyes, just for a little bit of a pop of color there. Since the top of my eyes is so neutral, I wanted to keep like the pinky orange theme going on for summer, so I just smudged that out very, very low. And then I took the metallic luster liner. This one's in the shade Liquid Gold, and I just applied that right onto my waterline for a little bit of a pop. They had this color, and then there was also a silver color, but I thought the gold was really pretty. It actually looks more of a silver, to be honest, on your waterline, more so than gold, but it was really creamy and I actually really enjoyed this eyeliner. Then for bronzer slash contouring, I'm actually picking up all three of the colors in the top row just because I love the warmth of them, and I'm using a large powder brush from the Up and Up brand from Target, and I'm just using this to really bronze my skin. I love this brush because it really gives you a nice smooth blended effect. You don't really have to use a lot of effort when you are using this brush because it really kind of does the job for you. I really love it. I find that when I bronze and then contour, it just gives me the most blended look possible. So then I'm taking another angled brush from Target, and I'm just using the same colors that I used to bronze to contour, and just to give me a more precise look. Then I took the banana color in the palette just to clean everything up a little bit. So then I'm going in and just kind of contouring my nose a little bit. I always skip this. I don't know why. I just never contour my nose. I always forget, but I figured I would do it for today's video. So then for blush, I'm using this blush trio in the shade Peachy Love. This is stunning. Like, I was just super impressed with this blush. It's so smooth, so pretty, and I love the peachy orange blush tones. I think it's stunning, like just absolutely gorgeous. So this is definitely my new favorite blush. I think it's so pretty, and I'm just using a stippling brush from Sigma just to apply that right to the apples of my cheeks, blending it up towards my bronzer. Then for highlighter, I'm using the shade Peach Nectar. This is actually a really pretty peach color, but personally for me, I'm going to be using this more as a highlighter whenever I am more tan, just because I am not as tan as I can possibly get right now, and it kind of looks a little bit of like a peach blush topper. Like if you're super pale, this is not going to look like a really flattering highlighter. In my opinion, this is the best for medium to tanner skin tones, but it's really gorgeous and you can see how intense it is. So I do really, really like this, but I'm just going to hold off on it a little bit until I'm a little bit darker, but it was stunning. And I, of course, am using my Morphe M501. So then for lips, I'm topping this look off with the liquid lipstick in the shade Dolce, or Dolce, I think it's Dolce. Just a really pretty watermelon coral color. I really liked this one. It was really comfortable on the lips and it didn't over dry them. I've never tried any other shade, so I don't know how they would all wear, but this one so far for me was really nice. So that completes this look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what brand you want to see next, and I'll see you in a few days in my next video. Bye!